Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to Astrology with Georgie. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the assassination attempt on Donald Trump that happened at the weekend. This is such an interesting event. It's a very historical event. If you're not interested in this topic, please switch off. This is for educational purposes only. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected by this awful event. It's very sad that people, one person lost their life and other people were injured. Obviously, that's very sad, but this is just to have a look at the astrology of the event, how it shows up in Donald Trump's chart, and also we have got the chart of the assassinator. So I'm excited to share this with you guys because when things like this happen and then you look at the astrology, it is honestly mind-blowing. It absolutely blows my mind. So really excited to share with you how this is showing up in Donald Trump's chart. So what you can see on the screen right now is this is Donald Trump's natal chart in the middle here. Let me just see if I can scroll down a bit. So there we go. Now, the biggest event that's been going on at the moment in the sky is this Mars and Uranus conjunction, okay? Now, this happens every 2 years, but Mars and Uranus together is a very chaotic energy. So Mars is considered a malefic planet, okay? So it's a negative planet. It rules blood, it rules crime and violence, and it actually does rule guns. Anything that you can think of that involves any form of crime, any form of violence, any form of, abuse, blood, severing of the skin, Mars rules all of these things, okay? Mars is the god of war. And yes, it's our energy and our action, and it does have a positive, meaningful purpose in the chart. But in this purpose, we're thinking about the negative manifestations of Mars. Mars rules injuries and crime and violence. Now, when it comes together with Uranus, this is considered a very chaotic energy because Uranus is unexpected shocks. It's unexpected events. It's a very chaotic, very hard to predict what's going to happen when Uranus is involved because it's unexpected events. So when you've got the planet of action conjoining with the planet of unexpected events, we know that shocking things are going to happen, okay? Things to do with violence, things to do with crime, injuries. You may know people in their lives right now that have injured themselves at the weekend. I know that I do. Or unexpected things have happened. Now, this energy is also breakthroughs, so it's not all bad. So you may have had your own personal breakthroughs because Uranus is the planet of innovation and moving forward and breaking free. It's freedom. So Mars can also bring that with Uranus as well. But in this case, we can see and we know that it was just this shocking, absolutely wild event that is going down in history. And when I think of that picture of Donald Trump with his fist in the air and blood on his ear and the American flag in the background, it's iconic. And look at this showing up in his chart. So first of all, we have this conjunction sitting on his MC, sitting right on the angle of his MC. Now, the MC, all of the angles, when things hit the angles, it's felt more strongly. The angles are very important in astrology. So not only is this happening in his 10th house of career and reputation, right up at the top of the chart for the world to see, it's also happening quite literally on the angle. So this is making it more strong, more profound. And then it's squaring his natal Mars. So Mars square Mars is, again, it's accidents, action. Think of all the words that I just said to explain Mars. A square is a tense aspect. So this is more likely where you're going to injure yourself. There's going to be some crime involved. Any form of crime can happen under Mars squaring Mars, but then you've got this Uranus conjunction making everything more chaotic. And because his natal Mars is in his first house, this is activating some form of injury and violence upon his self because the first house is his self. Now, we want to think about, okay, why was he so lucky? Because if he hadn't have turned his head the way that he did, like he'd be dead. And so that makes this even more interesting. Like, why was he so lucky? Um, oh, so now we can also see, well, we'll come on to that bit in a second, but he's got Saturn in his 8th house of death. When you have planets transiting the 8th house of death, it doesn't mean you're going to die, but often it can manifest as associations with death, having to confront death in some sense. Sometimes it's in the physical sense, sometimes it's in the metaphorical sense. You know, it's all about transforming. The 8th house is transformation, and Saturn is retrograding, so it's going through this inward backward process, and it's squaring his north and south node. So this is his life path. So Saturn is squaring his life path, and it's squaring his sun and his moon because he was born on a full moon. So because his sun is conjunct his north node, moon is conjunct the south node, this is somebody who holds obviously a lot of power in the world. Sun conjunct the north node is somebody that is going to hold a lot of power, become very famous. And Saturn is squaring this, and it's almost like he's had this brush of death, which could have affected the direction of his life, and perhaps it has, because he has the north node in the 11th house. We don't know what's going to happen with the election. Perhaps he will get back into presidency, which will be insane. But this could be affecting that, because his north node in the 11th house is all about groups of people. The 11th house is humanity. It's the collective, and Donald Trump's life path is to move towards being influential on a collective basis, the 11th house. And this event is squaring that. So it could have affected it in a bad way. We don't know what's going to happen with the election, but it's just signifying his life path is being influenced right now by this event, by this brush with death. But he didn't die. Okay, he wasn't supposed to die, but we can see in the chart that other planets are being supported. So when we look at, okay, why didn't he die? Why was he so lucky? So first of all, let me just see if I can move this down. So first of all, can you see that this is the transiting moon is conjunct his natal Jupiter? Okay, this is luck. This is having luck on your side. The moon of the event. The moon is in Libra. This is about connections with other people, and it's conjunct his Jupiter. This is bringing him luck. And then I'm just trying to think if we can see the ear. What rules the ears? I can't think what rules the ears. I'll have to come back to that because I can't think what rules the ears, but that could be that could have been something we could explore as well. So basically, we've got to look at what rules this house of death. What, you know, why did he manage to survive this? So he has Pisces on the 8th house. So therefore, we want to look at the condition of this house, the condition of the rulers. So modernly, this is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is here at 29 degrees, okay? Because Neptune is here, that's mitigating, it's helping. Because when a planet is present in the house that it rules, in the sign that it rules, it's helping. Because it's almost saying to Saturn, hey, like, I'm here, I'm helping you. So that's mitigating the situation. Then we can look at the traditional ruler of Pisces, which is Jupiter. Jupiter is over here in Gemini, which isn't the best sign for Jupiter to be in, but if, as we can see here, Jupiter is actually being supported in a sextile with Pluto. Now, Pluto is the planet of transformation, but it's supporting Jupiter. So it's like, you know, there's no squares. Jupiter's not being badly affected by any planet. It is coming up to this conjunction with his natal Uranus. So it is unexpected events, unexpected brushes with death, but it's being supported by the planet of transformation, which is in his first house. It's all about transformative experiences. This is going to transform his life, okay? There's no doubt about that. This will be transformative for him. Jupiter is also the lucky planet, okay? So he's actually got the lucky planet ruling his 8th house of death, being supported by the planet of transformation. But then also, because Jupiter is in Gemini, we need to look towards Mercury, because Mercury rules this house. What is the condition of Mercury? Now, Mercury is here in his first house, the self, the body, but Mercury is also being supported with a sextile to his natal Jupiter. This is, again, good luck. Jupiter is the planet of luck. And he was born in the day, so Jupiter is his luckiest planet. So this is helping him. And Mercury is also receiving another sextile to Uranus, okay? Uranus ruling his seventh house of relationships. And just even though it's the planet of unexpected change, the sextile is a positive aspect. So what I'm saying is Mercury is being supported by other planets. If Mercury was under pressure, if say Mercury had two squares to it in an opposition, we might be looking at a different story here. But Mercury is ruling Jupiter. Jupiter's in a good position. So we've got this backing up of the other planets here. So yes, he had this unexpected rush of death, Mars square Mars, Uranus involved, but he was not meant to die. It's a very fascinating chart. Now we're going to have a look at the assassinator, Thomas, what's his name, kind of Crooks. So we don't have a time of birth, but we do have a date of birth, and this is so interesting. So in his natal chart, he has Mars conjunct Uranus. How weird is this? So the transit chart, Mars and Uranus in the sky were conjunct. In his natal chart, he has this aspect, which is not that common. It's not very common to have Mars conjunct Uranus. It happens once every 2 years, and it's an exact conjunction -1 degree, but his Mars is retrograding back towards Uranus. So these could barely be much closer than what they are. So this energy is relevant for his life. Now, in his natal chart, he has Mercury, but Mercury is stationing, which means it has stopped because it's about to go retrograde. And when Mercury has stopped, it holds a real significance in the chart. His Mercury, which has stopped, is squaring Pluto. This is a difficult aspect, and this is his natal chart, so this is his natal energy. Somebody that has Mercury squaring Pluto is somebody that has a lot of strong opinions. We don't know anything about him, but he was obviously very political. To want to assassinate the president, he obviously probably had a load of opinions around politics. I don't know. But this is a difficult energy, and it can be somebody that has, like I said, very, very influential, very strong, very stubborn with their thought processes. But it's also a lot of pressure on the mind, a lot of potentially dark thoughts. You know, serial killers have this aspect because it's your mind being taken over by Pluto. And unfortunately, this probably has something to do with the state of his mental health. We don't know, we can't say. We don't know his time of birth, but potentially has Moon conjunct Saturn. This is a lack of empathy. This is somebody that struggles with their emotions, struggles to express their emotions. And he has Saturn squaring Venus. This is also somebody that self-worth is under pressure and that struggles with relationships or feeling valued. Now we're going to look at the transit chart for him. There's only obviously we don't have the time of birth, so we can't go really in depth, but what we do know is that, first of all, this Mars-Uranus, this Mars-Uranus conjunction, the transiting in the sky, is conjunct his North Node. This was his life path. He has the North Node sat with Black Moon Lilith. Lilith is somebody who has deep and dark desires. So it was part of his life path, perhaps to fulfill these deep, dark desires to try and kill the president. And this unexpected event is actually happening on his life path. It's being accelerated by his North Node. This was what he came here on Earth to do. For whatever reason, for his karmic growth, he has Neptune at 29 degrees opposing his sun. Neptune, 29th degree is a karmic degree. We don't know what house this is in, but it's opposing his sun. This is who he is. This is vitality. Neptune opposing your sun is confusion about who you are. It's pressure on your vitality, pressure on your essence, just a real confusion around your life direction and where you're going. And the 29th degree makes it more difficult because the 29th degree is a chaotic crisis of his identity and who he is. He's got Jupiter squaring his mind. So this is exasperating his thoughts at this time. Remember, he's got this Mercury squaring Pluto natally. He's now got Jupiter opposing his natal Pluto, squaring his Mercury. This is not being able to listen to other people. Jupiter expands. So yes, Jupiter's a lucky planet, but it's in Gemini and it's pressuring on his mind. So this is just thinking your thoughts being um, probably made worse, whatever you're thinking being made worse, and you're struggling to listen to other people, and you just probably want to do what you want to do with this pressure. Your beliefs, your beliefs. Jupiter opposite Pluto is all about your beliefs and thinking you're always right. Um, Now he's also got Saturn squaring Pluto as well, which is difficult. So there's actually this bit of this kind of grand cross going on here. Saturn squaring Pluto. So Saturn is your goals. Now it's retrograding, so it's rethinking your goals and your your life path and where you're going in your life. Um, Saturn is the planet of karma, squaring Pluto, and it's asking you, this is a slow transit, so it's going to be bringing up things of where are you going in your life. If you don't change who you are in order to transform, then Pluto will tear it down. Like I said, we don't know what house this is in, but generally Saturn square Pluto is a rethinking of your goals and your life direction, and it's really asking you to change. Pluto wants you to change. Saturn is the teacher, it's the karmic teacher, and it's coming here and it's saying you need to change this thing about your life. You need to change that thing about your life. Otherwise, you are going to be taken into the underworld, Pluto. And unfortunately, this is squaring his mind. So there's some real karmic stuff going on here with this 29th degree, Saturn squaring the Pluto. So yeah, this was what he came here to do. Unfortunately, he didn't have a very long life. It's very sad for his family. But shocking that it's under this Mars Uranus, the energy that he's so familiar with. Yeah, so really it's a very, and actually, this is coming up to square because this his natally he's got Mars Uranus at 29th degree, again a karmic degree. 29th degree is chaos, it's extremes. Then he's got this, it's actually building to a square. So he's got this opening Uranus square um of the same thing, of Mars conjunct Uranus, and it's all about breakthroughs and freedom. But he had all this other stuff going on, and he obviously wasn't managing to break free, and he wanted to do something really rebellious. He's channeling this energy in a rebellious sense rather than a breaking free. He's gone down as not an icon. He's gone down in history through this iconic event of trying to assassinate the president and not being successful, thank goodness. No matter what your political beliefs are, it's just awful. But yeah, a moment in history for everyone to witness. Now, that's kind of like the main things of these charts. Obviously, we don't have a time for the assassinator. I'm not going to talk about any other of Donald Trump's placements. Donald Trump is coming up for a full moon in his sixth house, so this could be a realization around his work and his daily errands. He's going to be having a lot of realizations this week because obviously he's had a brush with death. Saturn retrograding in the eighth house. When Saturn goes direct, he's probably going to be processing this for the next few months until Saturn goes direct. And then he'll be really kind of moving forward with his new beliefs around what has gone on through this attempted assassination attempt. He also has got the sun in the 12th house. The 12th house is hospitals, conjunct is Saturn. The sun is vitality. Saturn is like having to become responsible. He's ended up in hospital through this. Sometimes that can happen with 12th house transits. So that's another little interesting addition to the story. But yeah, it's a fascinating story. Please let me know in the comments if you can spot anything else that you want to add. And I hope you got some value from that. If you don't subscribe to my channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any future content from me. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Georgie. I am an astrologer in the UK using the Western tropical zodiac. Let's connect. I'm also on TikTok, Georgie Ogden 444. I'm on Instagram, Georgie Ogden Astrology. So come and connect with me on there if you haven't got me on there. And I hope you enjoy, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.